What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza here with a brand new video for all you rascals and rapscallions out there. Now, you guys are going to have to bear with me in this video. I'm still very sick. I'm actually home from work sick all week. I was in the hospital last night. I have a respiratory infection and an ear infection. I can actually only hear out of one ear very vaguely, so I'm in pretty rough shape now. But I did not want to pass up on the opportunity for this classic horror review on Valentine's Day, which today is, of 1981's My Bloody Valentine, directed by George Mihalka. Now, the time of this recording, which is a Friday, this actually came out on this very past Tuesday from Shout Factory. They had a new release with, restored footage, an uncut copy, because apparently when this was originally released, they cut 9 minutes of gore out of the theatrical release because it was apparently too gory. But I got the uncut version and I watched it. I was not disappointed. So without further ado, bone apple teeth, let's get right into it. The plot starts, the scene is set in a small Canadian mining town called Huntington Bluff, where we get introduced to a lot of the characters, which are about a bunch of guys in the early 20s, mid-20s that work in the mines. And they all get out of work, they shower up in the mine area, and they all take off into town to get a couple drinks at the local bar. We're in this very small town. It looks like they're all getting ready for this Valentine's dance that everybody's looking forward to. And in the meantime, we get introduced to the mayor, who actually knows about something that happened 20 years ago, all these killings, which just to get right into that aspect of it, to get that out of the way, 20 years ago to the day of this Valentine's Day party, apparently there were a bunch of miners down in the mines working, and the two supervisors up top ended up leaving early because they wanted to get to the party. And when they left, they forgot to check some stuff safety-wise, and the whole mine collapsed, killing like 6 miners. So they sent police and everything out to go get these kids, get these guys out of the mine, and they only found one survivor, which was Harry Warden. Yeah, Harry Warden. And he was actually down there eating another man, resorting to cannibalism, completely lost his mind. They got him out of there, and he spent the rest of his time in a mental institution, except 1 year later, he broke out of the mental institution and killed the 2 supervisors, leaving their bloody hearts inside Valentine's Day boxes, with a note saying, if you ever have a Valentine's Day dance or party again, I will come back and kill everyone. So, 20 years later, that's the backstory. Now we're 20 years later into the present, 1981, and the mayor is totally not wanting to have this party, because though this has been kind of pushed under wraps, the story 20 years ago, kind of hidden from the small town, the mayor remembers and he's scared of it. So, we get a little more character development between everyone, and the mayor gets a box of chocolates, actually, and he takes off in town with the sheriff. They're driving down the road, and he's all excited. He's got a sweet tooth. He opens up the box, and it's got a bloody heart in there. And it says something along the lines of, it's in some kind of Valentine's Day, like, rhyme, like, I told you not to have the Valentine's Day party, pretty much as simple as that. And he's freaking out, thinking, oh shit, Harry Warden is back. So he's talking to the sheriff about it, and they're trying to figure out what to do. They go back to the police station, and they call the mental institution that Harry was at, and the lady on the phone can't give them any information. She says he's either never been there, he's been released, or he's deceased. She doesn't know. So they're waiting on more information. Meanwhile, we go back to all the young kids in the bar, is where we meet a lot of our main characters. There's TJ, who's the main character. He's the son of the mayor, who also owns the mine. And he's back in town after he moved to the West Coast and failed trying to do whatever he was doing out there. But when he comes back, his old girlfriend Sarah is actually dating one of his friends, Axel, who also works in the mine. So right away, I thought that was pretty cool that we have an actual love story kind of scenario in this, because this could have easily just been a slasher that happened on Valentine's Day with like forgettable characters. But we got a pretty cool like story arc there with like this little love triangle and everything. So to carry on, they go to the other bar at night, and they're partying in there, getting ready for the dance and everything. I think this is 2 days before the dance, and things are really awkward between the 3 of these guys. And at the same time, you got this crazy bartender who's telling all these kids, Harry's real, he's going to come back and kill all you guys. They don't believe it. But meanwhile in town, there's this woman, Mabel, who's kind of an older lady who runs the laundromat, and she's kind of setting up the whole dance and everything. And you see a guy walking up in the first person point of view, classic slasher like thing right there. He comes in and it's Harry. He kills her off screen after she gets a box of chocolates with a threatening note in it. Then the next day, the sheriff goes in to the laundromat looking for her, and he's covering his face because it smells in there, which is a nice touch because a dead body I would imagine would stink. And they actually have a excuse me, they actually have a really cool shot here where he's like looking around for what this smell is or whatnot, and his body is like in front of one of the laundromat doors, and then when he steps to the right to check out the laundromat like door on the far right, he reveals that the one he was standing in front of is covered in blood, the window of it. So when he opens it up, the lady Mabel, her whole body falls out, and she is totally just like burned up and melted up. It is so gnarly. And then in the uncut version, the machine keeps spinning around while her body's in there, and it shows her chest is ripped open with her heart out. It is totally gory, gnarly shit. If you like gore, check out the uncut version, definitely. But he gets a hold of the paramedics, a lot of the other cops, and the mayor shows up, and they're saying like, we can't let this get out to the public. So they say, pull that ambulance to the back, and if anybody asks, it was a heart attack. So then they decide, we got to go shut down this dance. They go shut down the dance for all these kids, and all the kids are super bummed out. And they're like, what are we going to do? We can't have a party. And this is when TJ, who once, like I said, was the son of the mayor who owns the mine, he says, why don't we just have a party at the mine? Because I guess they have like a rec room and everything upstairs, and, there's the plan. They're going to go set out for the party. And this whole time, that crazy bartender, who actually turns out not to be so crazy because he was right, the killer is back. He goes to play like a little joke on them. So he gets this old mining uniform and sets it up like inside the door of the rec room and everything. And he's pulling a full Jim Leahy. He's got a whole fifth while he's going to do this. He's drunk off his ass, laughing his ass off. He sets up this prop killer, so every time you open the door, like his arm raises up like he's going to get you, and he keeps opening up and laughing at it and walking away and going back. He walks away a little further this last time, and when he walks back the last time, he opens it up, and one of the coolest kills in the whole movie, Harry just comes up with the pickaxe, like an uppercut almost, and it goes straight under his jaw and right out his eye, and his eye pops out and everything. That definitely wasn't in the theatrical version. That was just in the uncut, obviously, but that was one of the most brutal, gnarly kills I've ever seen. So now he's done with. So now the kids make it to the party, and this whole time TJ and Axel have been kind of arguing over who Sarah likes more. And at one point earlier, TJ took Sarah out by the beach, and kind of they had like a heart-to-heart about why he left and everything, and they actually ended up kissing and everything. So he brings this up when they're at the party. He's like, I think she wants me, and it's explained to him what he did. So Axel gets pissed. These two start fist fighting inside the party of the rec room, and Sarah girl gets all upset and starts crying, and both guys try to calm her and everything, and she's like, you guys are both acting like assholes, maybe I don't want either of you. So Axel grabs a beer and runs off and goes sits outside. TJ goes and cries somewhere else, not cry, but he's upset too. And then we get another kill where this other character that we don't really know goes into the back room where they're boiling hot dogs to get a snack. His head gets shoved into the boiling water. He's killed like that. It's one of the easier kills in here, but it was still a little fun. So we get to the point where also another fun little spot is the kills start happening in this rec room, like I just said, and the chief is actually going to check on the party. And right as he's pulling up, it's a cool shot because he literally pulls a U-ey in the parking lot of this mine because he gets a radio in from the police station like, oh, the lady from the mental institution called back about information about Harry. So right as he pulls in, he pulls right out. And it's just funny because like they would have really needed him. I thought that was a nice little touch. But anyways, so some of the girls get Sarah, and they ask the guys that work there if they can take a ride down the mine because apparently it's like 2,000 feet deep into the mine. And they think it'll be fun. Oh, we heard it's a roller coaster down there. And they're trying to get this girl Sarah's mind off what's going on. And TJ runs out there, you can't be taking them down there. It's not safe or whatever. And one of the other guys assures him, we're just going to go right down and come right up. So they start heading down into the mine and everything. And it's at this point where we have another couple there back in like a part of the upper part of the mine. And they're about to get it on, if you know what I'm saying. I feel like such a corn dog for saying it like that. But one takes, what can you do? So the girl asks if he can go grab some more beer. So he runs back to grab some more beer, and we have another like cool little shot where the girls are grabbing hot dogs because he's back in the kitchen to grab beer out of the fridge, and they pull out a heart and they get freaked out, but it looks like just some other piece of meat. They don't know what it is. And as the kid's opening the fridge, he looks back at him like, "Oh, what's going on? What's that?" And as he looks away, you can see the other guy who had his head in the boiling water. He's dead in the fridge, but since he looked away, he didn't see it. So in the meantime, the girl he was going to hook up with gets chased off and scared as the showers start and everything. And then another uncut kill. Harry picks this girl up right by her head and impales her through the back of her head, through her mouth, through like the shower. And all the water's running through her head. It's absolutely crazy. And then the kid goes back and finds her, and he surprisingly doesn't get killed off, but he's absolutely spooked and terrified. And he takes off. And here's like a part I really like about horror movies, because first of all, the setting alone in like a small town is like what I'm used to, so I like that in the first place. But these characters all seem like relatable, realistic, young kids in their 20s and shit. You know, they're all laughing and having fun, but their reaction, just like I said about like the Slumber Party Massacre when I did a review like that, I love the reaction of this because the girl finds the guy in the freezer and the other guy finds his girl with her head impaled in the shower, and when they both run into the rec room at the same time, they're absolutely in hysteria, which I kind of like that in horror movies because it's real. That's how you would really act. Like, this kid is pale as a ghost, like about to just faint. He's so freaked out. So then Axel's like, everybody get the hell out of here, go into town, alert the authorities because the phones are down and everything. So everybody takes off. And this is when TJ and Axel say, or TJ tells Axel, they're all down in the mines, Sarah too. Axel's like, why the hell would you let them do that? But yet again, another cool part in this movie, I like that Axel and TJ team up together. They hate each other, but they team up together to save their friends, and most importantly, the girl they both love. So pretty cool, like, love triangle story in this movie. But yeah, they head down in the mine, and this is when they find everybody and tell them, you know, Harry's back. He's killing everybody, and they freak out. They're trying to get out of there, but the elevator shaft is broken. There's no way out. So they got to go try to find these other two kids that were down there that went to hook up. So they all kind of split up to go look for them. And one of the characters, I forget his name, which sucks because he was a pretty good character. But he finds the two of them, and they have like a big drill right through them where they were laying down, making out or whatever. And it kind of freaks him out. When he goes to leave, Harry shows up, and he hits him with a nail gun straight through the temple and straight through the head. It is crazy. He looks real fucked up. So he starts walking away, and he stumbles back to where Sarah and his girlfriend Patty are with the other guy, falls down in front of them, and they're freaking out. The other guy that was with the two girls takes off running. And then TJ comes back and grabs the girls, and they meet up with Axel. And they think the only way out is up this ladder. They start climbing up this ladder to escape. And to think this is 2,000 feet up, I would be terrified too. So as they make it like halfway up, they've been climbing for a while. The one guy who ran off, his body falls down from a noose right next to them on the ladder. And his whole fucking body rips off his head and falls to the ground. Another insane kill. Absolutely crazy. So, it's just the four of them left, and Axel's the one leading the way now. He knows a shortcut. And in this time, the cops show up, the chief shows up with all types of townspeople. And the carts and everything, the elevator's all broken. So they decide to start walking down the mine to try to find these guys. So Axel's leading the way, and then TJ and the two girls get ahead of him, and you hear him like get killed off screen. And it looks like he fell into the 60-foot deep water. So he's dead down there. They have to leave without him. So they start taking off. And TJ gets lost from the two girls. So now it's just the two girls. And when they come around the corner, this girl, Patty, takes a pickaxe straight to the chest and gets killed. So Sarah takes off running the other way and meets back up with TJ. And so they decide they're going to go back up the carts, back up. Which I don't understand because that's the way they went down. Why wouldn't they just went up that way in the first place rather than the elevators? I don't know. But they start going up start going up the carts and everything, and then the hairy guy is chasing them. And there's a cool scene where they're jumping from one cart to the other while it's going up as he's chasing them down. TJ falls off the cart. They start fighting. He's got a shovel, so they're kind of having like a sword fight with the pickaxe and the shovel. Sarah jumps off and starts trying to help TJ, and then they go into this little side room of the mine and start having like a final fight there. And as much as I want to keep going on about the story of this movie, they have a nice little twist here that's too good for me to give away. So I'm just going to leave it at that. It gets really good after hearing the final 15 minutes. Nice little twist that you kind of have to see. So, seeing how I'm so sick and I'm sweating my ass off just being this sick, I'm going to leave it at that. But, sorry, another anticlimactic finish. But, yeah, I highly suggest checking out this movie. A great Valentine's Day movie. You know, I was going to record this on Wednesday and say if you ordered it on Amazon Prime, you could get it on time for Valentine's Day. But I was the peak of my sickness there. But, anyways, yeah, this is a really good release. I recommend picking up. This is the Shout Factory release. Scream Factory, Shout Factory, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, it's got the release here. And it comes with, well, the theatrical and the uncut. The uncut's in my Blu-ray player right now. Then it also came with an alternate slipcover, which I don't know what I'd really do with this. I only need one. I guess if you ordered it off Amazon and you have an extra like this, I might keep this just to sell it to someone, or actually sell this one and keep this one. This one might be a little more valuable. And it also came with 2 posters from the movie, the original cover and the new cover. So yeah. So I highly suggest you guys pick this one up. I seen it for the first time 2 days ago, I believe. I'm all sick. I don't remember half of anything, but yeah, it's another one of those horror movies that you watch for the first time, and it blew my mind. Where I got to throw it in like my top 10 almost. Like I don't know what I would do with like my top 10, 15. There's a lot of good ones in there, but this is like an instant classic. I recommend any fan of horror to pick this one up. If you've seen it, it's great. It would be good to get the new release. If you've never seen it, even better to get it. It's $35 on from Shout Factory to get the release of the posters and the other slipcover, but I believe you can get it on Amazon for $25. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like shit, but I'm glad I could get this video out for you guys. I am going to go back to bed because I feel terrible. Blood, guts, gore. I'll check you guys next time.